Hi, and welcome to the Tes With Intuitives podcast. I'm Meli, an Akashic reader, past life psychic, and channeling coach.
And I'm Brittany, an esoteric energy healer and spiritual life coach. Each episode, we answer one of your questions about spirituality, the Akashic records, energy healing, meditation, spirit guides, and the unseen world.
So we invite you to grab your cup of tea while we answer at Serapi Sessions on Instagram's question. As psychics, how do you approach having a glass of wine? Does it affect your energy? But before we go any further, if you're watching this on YouTube, you notice that we are very festive. So Brittany, do you mind saying what is going on right now?
Happy 1 year anniversary to
Happy
Tes With
one.
Intuitives.
Yeah. Maybe we can start calling it TWI.
TWI.
Yeah, Tes With Intuitives, TWI. We're cool now. We're TWI.
Year 1 is so yesterday. Year 2
Yes,
is
I
in.
know. We're so mature now.
We're so mature. And I'll tell you guys, special episode means this is not tea. It is actually wine. And we're going to talk about wine and spirituality. I'm just kidding. It's actually tea.
Yes. What are you drinking?
Well, special occasion. I couldn't just have my Earl Grey. We got to change it up. This is pomegranate green tea.
Oh, wow. That's kind of fancy and festive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel as festive. I have my jasmine tea in my travel mug because I feel like I need a vacation soon. So it's making me feel like I'm traveling.
Come into the field.
Right.
Right.
Oh, if you're not watching this on YouTube or Spotify, we need to explain Brittany has just moved into her first house. Yay! And since your office isn't set yet, she's having a meadow or a prairie background?
Yeah, it's like an English countryside painting.
Yeah, and it fits with what you're wearing. So I told her that she's kind of in farmer mode today.
Yeah, Melly can vacation with me in the farmer field.
Yay! I'm going to take my birthday hat off because the string is itchy.
Suffocating. Also, you guys, I'm very blind, so I'm gonna take my Elton John glasses off and put my actual glasses on so I can see Melly.
People listening on podcasts are going, wait, I need to see this on YouTube.
You've got to. Also, actually, Spotify plays the video now, which is super cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to mention, thank you to everyone who are answering our polls on Spotify. And I just want to share, I think we have one answer that we've had about prophetic dreams. And we have, let me see, we have Pleiadian Fairy who said that she did have a prophetic dream and she dreamt she had a baby brother. Then a few months later, she learned that her dad's girlfriend was pregnant. And she was 12 for both dreams, she said. And she also dreamt that her grandma had cancer. And a few weeks later, her grandma told them that she had cancer. So thank you, Pleiadian Fairy, for sharing this on Spotify. So we have questions, we have polls, sometimes both, sometimes just one or the other. So you can check out on Spotify to participate, and we'll give you a shout out in our next podcast.
And leave us a review.
Yes, please do. It's helping a lot.
Yeah, definitely leave a review. And I wanted to say one thing. We had Sandra, right? Sandra?
Sandra K.
You say it so much better. Wow, so eloquent. I had a numerology reading with her. And because we interviewed her on the podcast, I then got a numerology reading with her, and it was fantastic. So spot on. I really enjoyed it. I felt like some clarity came through on kind of what I should be putting my energy into next. And so fantastic. If anyone wants kind of a numerology reading, definitely recommend her.
Yeah, you're reminding me I need to get one with Sandra.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Well, should we dive in?
Yes, we should. We should. Okay. So, Brittany, do you drink wine often? Do you drink wine before a healing or an Akashic reading? Before giving them, I mean.
I am so happy we have this session. Thank you for asking, because in the spiritual community, it's such a big topic. Substances in general. And Melly, you mentioned this before recording. It was just even coffee. Some
Mhm.
people are against coffee and doing spiritual work, or just things that will alter you from your natural state in general. Um, I drink wine if I am celebrating and if I don't have a client the next day. I never drink wine. I don't even take CBD really. I even CBD oil, even I feel like may interfere. So anything that might alter me in any way, I don't take at least 24 hours before I have a client. That is because in this work, it's like if you were a handyman, or you're doing artistry, or you are, I don't know, if you're using your body to really be of service, you're gonna want to take care of your body. It is your tool. It's like if you were a handyman with a hammer or a saw or something, you want to take care of your tools. Well, for us who give readings and energy healings, our tools are our bodies, and we have to treat them with respect and treat them with just this understanding of how that may affect a client session if we are drinking wine, or if we are, taking in any kind of substances, whether it be mushrooms or any kind of ritualistic substance that's going to alter our energy field. So 24 hours is my rule. I probably drink a glass of wine once a month when it's like a birthday or some sort of celebration. I might drink an hard apple cider, maybe a couple of times a month.
Mhm.
I'm just not a big drinker, and it's because I want to be the best that I can be for my clients.
Right, right. I'm completely the opposite. I drink wine like 5 times a day. Just kidding.
I'm telling you, it's not tea. This is
Yeah.
wine.
Um, Actually, I'm intolerant to tons of things. A few years ago, I did a blood test just to find out everything I was intolerant, allergic to, and tannins are part of it. So, tannins are found in wine, chocolate, coffee, and tea. So today
Mm.
I'm drinking jasmine tea, and that's not so bad, and I'm maybe drinking it once a week. So that's fine. I'm exactly like you, actually, Brittany. So I will drink wine maybe once a month where when there is a gathering. And when I say drink wine, it means that Pierre is my husband, he's having a glass of wine and I'm taking 1 or 2 sips because otherwise I'm going to feel bad. But my rule of thumb is also 24 hours if I take anything. But the spirit guides have shown me that it's all about listening to your body. So when I was training to be a psychic and to read for others, I did some tests. And I went and had a coffee during the morning, and then a few hours later gave a reading, and everything was fine. And so I did some other tests like that, either for my energies or reading for others. And then I asked the spirit guides. I couldn't feel much, but I drink coffee maybe once a week, so I don't have it like piling up in my body. I don't have this caffeine piling up. And they were saying when you look at the coffee machine and you think about having the coffee, think about what it's going to do in your body and how your body will receive it, depending on how you're doing that certain day and how you've been doing the days prior. You'll feel if you can have it or not. And so it's really funny because I sometimes tap in with my spirit guides before having a coffee, and I'm having the pod in front of me and I can hear like, "Oh, you're good. you're good, no problem. Or maybe you shouldn't. And sometimes I do it anyways. And I'm like, they were right. I shouldn't have taken it. I don't feel so good. But in terms of channeling, if I feel good, like I could take a coffee in the morning and then I channel in the afternoon, I don't see any difference in my abilities. It's very personal. I know a medium who's more strict than I am. And even her diet, it's going to be super strict with what she eats, being very careful not to have sugar. And I'm not someone who eats a lot of sugar anyway, so maybe that's why I'm less strict. But some psychics are really, really strict because they can feel it affecting them. So what I'm saying as well in my channeling class is that you need to just test it on yourself and see if you're as efficient and if you're receiving the messages as clearly when you've taken a glass of wine or coffee. But I would say to avoid drugs for sure. I mean, maybe CBD oil before going to bed and then you channel the day after. You can test that out. But no mushrooms, no ayahuasca, because the spirit guides are saying that's for something else. That's not for channeling your guides or going into your Akashic records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and those are pretty strong. I mean, they're hallucinogenics. They're altering your state. So when you are opening the Akashic records or you're opening a channel for energy healing, you're altering. It's almost like you're altering your reality in a way. You're tapping into a different source of information. It's a different kind of dimensional frequency. So when you're sitting with a plant, whether it be mushrooms or ayahuasca or something else or tobacco, if you take enough tobacco and strong enough doses, you'll hallucinate. And what's really fascinating is that all of these plants are different journeys for you to take if you want. But I mean, out of respect to the Akashic records, not entering into them when you are in a different frequency. I was taking notes. I looked kind of distracted, but I had some thoughts I didn't want to forget. When you do this work, whether you are offering energy healings or you're a client of it or readings, whatever it might be, the more that you do this work, the more sensitive you become. So there's really not one answer because, like I said, the more that you give or receive energy healing or give and receive channeling readings, your frequency changes all the time. So what I've noticed is I used to have maybe a glass of wine and then 24 hours later I could have a client, but actually as time goes on, if I have a glass of wine or cider or something, sometimes I need 48 hours to recover from it because you're just more sensitive as time goes and you're doing this work. Clients, Meli, I'm sure you've noticed this too, like clients you work with more often than others become really sensitive to things where they might have been able to like do mushrooms or they might have been able to like smoke marijuana and then all of a sudden those things stop having the same effect. They don't feel good anymore. Yep. It's because your client's frequency is changing. So this work there's a lot to this work that we don't foresee sometimes, but if you step into this journey and into this path, your frequency will constantly be changing and shifting, and it's all positive, but the space for your body to intake things changes too. So there's even clients I work with that don't do coffee anymore. I don't do coffee anymore after I started giving readings. So
Oh, right. I remember not so long ago, you were doing stories, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, with you having a coffee in the morning.
Yeah. Every day. Every day I had coffee. It was a bad day if I didn't have coffee, and now I can't. I don't do it.
Wow. Yeah. And it's all about the vibrations as well. Every substance that you put in your body, as well as we can talk about thoughts as well, but everything that will lower your vibrations will not help you channel because your vibrations are too low. So you cannot reach your spirit guides or your Akashic records. So, and as you're saying, the more we work in that field, the more we're in communication, the more we're doing our meditations and we're spiritual, the more we're raising our vibe. So we become more sensitive. But the good thing about that is that when we learn, like, okay, I cannot take coffee or take wine 24, 48 hours prior to, you also notice that it's much easier to connect because you're constantly raising your vibes, you're in gratitude, you're having positive thoughts, you're having this close relationship with the spirit world that makes you happy. And so the connection is so much quicker.
Beautifully said. Yeah, you don't need some of the external things that you once needed to bring you joy. It's like you
Right.
just don't need that support anymore. And I'll also say too, there have been a lot of sort of spiritual teachers or influencers that I'll follow on social media, and we can go into diet, even eating vegan or eating meat. I eat meat. I'm not afraid to say that I don't ingest a lot of meat. I probably eat meat once a week when my fiance, was like, "Hey, we're actually I'm gonna cook meat today and I'm gonna eat it." Um, it's super light and I need it. I notice, especially having a monthly bleed when I'm on my cycle, that I need beef, and it makes me feel so much better having just a little piece of beef when I'm on my cycle versus not at all. And so
Mhm.
I really listen to my body. I listen to what it needs. And it's the same thing with substances or wine or whatever you're drinking or intaking. But getting back to the influencers on social media, like you'll follow people for a long time who have very strong opinions about you should not drink alcohol. If you're an Akashic record reader, you never drink alcohol. And there are people who will say that, do not drink alcohol. And then a couple of months will go by and then they'll make a post that says, well, maybe you can drink a little bit of alcohol. I've seen it happen more than once. They'll start
That's so
drinking alcohol
funny.
and they're like, actually, I can drink alcohol, so you can too. And then there are people who are vegan who practice spirituality so deeply, but then they totally change their diet and then they're finally like, well, actually, I'm not vegan anymore and I've missed eating eggs a lot and it nourishes my body and it's what I've needed. So,
Mhm.
you know what? Listen to your body. I can't stress it enough. Like, listen to your body. No one else is going to be able to tell you what you need, unless they're like taking blood samples and stuff,
Right.
but
Right. Yeah, I think the moral of the story is that we're all different. We all have different needs. We're affected by food, by substances differently. So we have to test it out. That's what I always end up saying in my classes. You need to test it out on yourself. And regarding food, I'm the same. I don't like to be rigid. My daughter made the choice to be vegetarian. And my husband and I had been thinking about it for a while. So we decided to go with it. Like, okay, we're not buying meat in the house. But we became flexitarian in the end. When we go to friend's house or we're having friends over, we buy meat and then we do something separately for our daughter. And sometimes I feel like, okay, I need it. I think I'm going to buy a chicken, and then I am mindful of where the chicken was grown, if it was a free range chicken and all of that, no hormones. But yeah, I think it's very personal. You need to listen to your body and test it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're both just really on the same page about this.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, did I say what kind of tea I'm drinking? It's really not wine. It's really
You
not.
said it. It's pomegranate.
Oh yeah, pomegranate green tea. It's not wine. Really gonna stress that.
Yeah.
It could be, and I hope you wouldn't judge me if I had wine. At 11:30, it's my day off. So you know what? Let me live my life. And I hope that everyone listening to this feels empowered through what they eat.
Mhm.
We are here to enjoy life. That's something that I find is reiterated every now and then in the Akashic Records in a reading. When people are really harsh critics on themselves and they judge themselves and they really wanted that slice of cake, and they enjoyed it, but then right after they ate it, they hated themselves for eating it. It's this energy of where's the self-compassion because you're human. Okay, now let's change the behavior and the habit. But then once we move past that, enjoy. We're here to enjoy what life offers us. Go on your retreat to South America and sit with ayahuasca and have that beautiful, magical experience. Go drink wine at your friend's birthday party and enjoy it if that's something that you want to do. Like, enjoy life and have compassion for yourself when you're in the joy of life, and know that anything in small doses, your body can totally right itself and cleanse itself, and you have the power to help your body do that. So yeah, just
And
enjoy.
we're not talking about addictions here, just to be
No.
clear.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And when I asked my spirit guides about meat, for example, when we changed our diet at home, the spirit guides were saying they are not anti-meat at all. They are for the animals to be well treated, but they were saying it's just part of the human experience. It's part of the cycle of life. So as long as you make sure that the animal has been well treated and you just do your best, or maybe you have less money and you cannot check that as much as you used to. The spirit guides have a lot of compassion. You're not losing points like in the show The Good Place on NBC. You want to watch that? It's really funny. At a certain point, they're trying to find out how it works, who's getting in the good place and who's getting in the bad place. And then we have an example. Oh, this guy just ate meat and lost like 200 points. Not like that. The spirit guides have a lot of compassion regarding the choices that we're making, and anything situational is taking into consideration, and just do your best.
Do your best. And I think that's what we all do. And honestly, on some days where we feel really bad, and those days where we feel like we can't do our best, I think we still do our best in that moment, because we're giving what we can give, or we're sitting in a place where we can't give anything. That is our best in that moment.
It is.
So
yes. So well said.
Great. What a good episode. Thanks for listening. Happy 1 year.
Yeah, happy 1 year. And thank you, Sarah, for your question. That was lots of fun.
Yeah, great question. Keep them coming. Keep sending us your questions. Nothing is too big or too small.
Thank you for listening to the Tes With Intuitives podcast.
If you have a question for us, you can send it to teswithintuitives@gmail.com or via Instagram or YouTube.
Your love for this podcast helps us grow and reach more like-minded souls, so don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, give lots of heart to this podcast so we can grow even more.
Yay! Year 2 is going to be the best one yet.
Yes.
Have a beautiful week.